Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday and happy anniversary or birthday, however you want to call it, to all of us. Made the channel in March of 2021. And as I've explained before, me being the Silicon Valley tech guru that I am, took me a few months to figure it out. For those of you that were here from the beginning of the channel, you know it took a lot longer than just the March to June 3rd for me to figure it out. So yeah, June 3rd last year, I did a live, a couple people came up, and it was just basically, this is why I have a channel, talked a lot about Facebook jail, because before there was a channel, there still is a page and lots of Facebook groups. So I was like, well, doesn't do me any good to be in Facebook jail and not be able to talk to people about cases. So I started a channel. There's literally been days where I have been in here talking to myself. At one point, I'm like, I might have to make a YouTube suck account so it looks like I have at least one friend. But you guys are awesome, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Whether you were here from before there was a channel, or you came along, like last summer, or you just followed one particular case, or you're brand new. You guys are huge part of this community, and I just can't appreciate you guys enough, and especially the friendships that we have made over this last year, or actually years. So let's see who's in here. Sonia Allen, good morning, and she's got a birthday coming up too. My friend Shannon, my friend Kat. There's my husband DT Driver. I got to give a special shout out to him. He gets to hear about true crime all the time, even when he's watching a football game. And today is our wedding anniversary. So it's kind of a celebration times two. I love you, Gregory. Aggie, good morning. Deb, good morning. Fed Up, good morning. Hello, Katrina. Hi, Carla. Hi, Preschool Granny. Misty Doo, good morning. Hi, Chris. Hi, Gaelic Girl. Hi, Kayla Bailey. How are you? I'm scanning too fast. Hello, Kane Corso. Little Wing, how are you? Just me. Josephine, good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I do see Mary. Hi, Mary. Hope everyone's doing good. Want to say thank you to everyone. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Michelle. For being here yesterday. Talking about the horrific tragedy that happened in Tulsa. Of course, I'm a native Oklahoman, and only this community can talk about such, help me with an adjective, hot topic issues like this community, where we all discuss, we have our opinion, and then we're still on the same page. It's a tragedy. Rock and Rolla, good morning. Hi, two Boston moms. Eileen, thank you for the super sticker, hun. Thank you so much, and thanks for being in the show yesterday, and thanks for being here today. Hi, Laverne. Hi, Outlaw. Well, let's bring up our friend Kat. And we're going to take a stroll down memory lane today after we do some comments from the last show. Hi, Kat.
Hey, Brooks. Happy anniversary and happy birthday to Crime Lines and Lies. I think it's amazing. 1 year old. Way to go. Do you know what I think is really great is that this time last year, it was your wedding anniversary and you were like, hey, Mr. Brooks, wait right there. I'll be with you in a minute. I've just got to start a YouTube channel.
He was working that day.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations.
New to this, I don't think he even knew how to listen to it.
Uh-huh.
A happy anniversary to you. Her and her husband celebrated their anniversary yesterday.
Oh, happy anniversary, Muscles and Mascara.
We should go on a double honeymoon. And thank you for the super sticker. We get in all kinds of trouble. I have a feeling the men would be like, never again.
Uh-huh.
Never again. So, over the last year, I shouldn't just say the last year, because like I said, we had the Facebook page and all the groups before. There's been way more ups than downs.
Yep.
We've made great friends, and we've been actually very fortunate because while we've had a few crazies, we've been really lucky that the trash has really kind of just taken itself out.
Yeah, that happens really well around here. You know, you've covered a lot in the last year, and it's really impressive to see. We were just chatting about it a bit before. It's really impressive to see how far this channel has come in a year. Not many channels can say that they've covered as many cases as you have, and in such a compassionate and understanding way as you have either. And that's testament. A year on is testament to you, Brooks. Really.
Well, some days they were compassionate, and there were some days, I mean, I've thrown out some F-bombs and B-words at some people in chat.
Well, you know.
Mascara said, well, we can just leave them at home and we'll go. Yeah, let's go celebrate our anniversary.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Have fun, girls. Might get a passport and fly over and join you.
Got to make that happen. Would you want to go over some comments with me?
Absolutely, always.
Hey, Magoo.
Roll the comments.
All right. So as expected, there's still a lot of talk about the text that went out to several creators, namely Dolly Vision, about Candace wanting to harm herself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as of last night, from what I gathered, the police did make contact with Candace, who said she didn't call anybody, she didn't text anybody, and she's just fine. Well, with a case like that, you can't really prove if she did or didn't. They're not really going to go to all these different states and chase these people down to find out what's really going on. They didn't put her on a hold. She's not in the hospital. So we just kind of summed it up to it's another one of Candace's pranks. I mean, her own mother threw her under the bus.
Yep.
That damn bus. So Steffi B said, I feel like it was a prank. It was odd she reached out to Dolly. He had only reached out to her when he was in Tennessee a few weeks ago to see if she would give permission for him to cut down the trees and debris covering Summer's sign. Right. He was heartbroken how it looked and said it cannot be seen from the road. And she said no, she didn't want anyone on the property. Dolly is bringing a new banner and smaller signs to put around town. It's sad her own parents aren't trying to keep her face out there to be found. Yeah, fair enough. We could see in the text exchange between him and her, and I don't know if they spoke on the phone because she never replied to him wanting to clean up around that sign. We saw that. No. So she tries to call him, what's today? Friday? Was it Wednesday night? Tuesday night. And that's when the whole she wants to harm herself come out.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the message that we saw, wasn't it? We saw, because he had his thumb over the screen, so all we saw was the bit about the sign. We knew there was some contact between them at that point, although Candace never replied in that thread to him. It doesn't really surprise me that Candace has said no to people cleaning up around the sign, because that just, you know, falls straight in line with everything that Candace has ever done since the beginning of this case.
She doesn't really like things neat and orderly.
Yeah, no shit.
Have to say that. Lindsay from England said, let's face it, everyone appears to have lied. And that's what that says is they are hiding something. To me, it's always been obvious Candace lied. And then her behavior afterwards just reinforced my beliefs. I also wonder if Summer ever made it home. This latest prank disgusts me. She's looking for attention to keep herself in the loop. Girl, I'm with you. I've always wondered if Summer ever made it back to Ben Hill. Just because Candace saw her before and after her nap doesn't tell me a lot.
No. It's been one of my main things since the beginning of this case is I don't really know that she made it home that day. I don't believe she did personally, and I've never seen any evidence that she did either. All we've ever had is the word of people that lie constantly. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any proof that she ever made it home that day either.
Yeah, and let's face it, their word isn't exactly strong as oak.
Yeah, another one to say no shit.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, for the last, we started talking about summer on this channel on June 16th.
Yeah.
And it seems like as the days unfolded, we all just kind of started raising our eyebrows going, something's not good in the hood. All right, Donna. Candace, why are you crying out for help for yourself, but you couldn't cry out for help for Summer? I love this comment. So if it truly was a cry for help, which now she's saying, of course, she was spoofed, hacked, whatever, but you didn't have any empathy for your missing daughter. You still don't. You can't be bothered with it, but you'll feed off of sympathy of others for yourself.
Yep. Ain't that a mic drop moment?
Mm-hmm.
Mic drop comment then. Because, you know, she's never ever had any empathy or sympathy or understanding or anything for anyone else other than herself. Especially not her daughter.
It's not helping me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Absolutely.
helping me. Liars. I just want to go home, Donnie. I just want to go home. And it's like, you shouldn't have left anyway. You have a missing daughter.
Right.
Dr. Phil's got plenty of gas money to get to your ass. Mystic Rogue said, everyone stop giving Dawn, Candace, and Candy Hair the pity and attention that they want. You do not have to have a college degree to figure out that they are lying and more than likely know or involved with whatever happened to Summer last year. Last year, when I read that, just that still hurts. And I just want to make it clear to Mystic Rogue and anybody else in here that thought I was giving her sympathy the last show we did about Summer. It was not about sympathy for Candace. I will say this. I don't want anyone to self-harm. I don't care who they are.
Yeah.
She is also the mother of a missing child who was the last person to see Summer and knows something that either she was blacked out and can't remember or refuses to tell. It would be detrimental. It's like in the Harvey Montgomery case when Adam's new girlfriend, terrible what happened to her. Terrible. She's found deceased in a hotel. Terrible. She could have taken a lot of knowledge with her without even knowing it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said, isn't it, on that last show as well? You know, there's absolutely no wish for any of them to do themselves harm, and especially Candace, because if Candace goes that way, then everything we needed to know about Summer possibly goes with her. And that's, you know, not good for anyone, especially Summer.
Especially Summer. Michelle says, next comment. She said that she can't keep track of time. Obviously, she is always enjoying herself. Now, that was a mic drop that we heard last June when Candace said, when I'm trying to enjoy myself, I can't remember the exact wording, I can't keep track of time. Well, there's nothing enjoyable if you're in a panic-stricken mode looking for your missing child on a property that you claim is riddled with snakes, bears, coyotes, and well, you and your husband are scarier than that. But anyway, what would be fun about that?
Exactly. Well, also, even if she was referring to the day that happened before Summer went missing, it's still the day that your daughter went missing. So none of that would have been enjoyable at a later date. You wouldn't look back on that day and be like, oh, I was just trying to enjoy myself, and then this really inconvenient thing happened. My daughter went missing and I didn't keep track of time, because, you know, it's really hard to keep track of time when you're trying to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I was trying to have a good day, and darn,
Right. I was just trying to have a good day. I was just trying to, you know, go to the hippie house and get a twisted tea for an underage child and take my daughter into a horse pond. And, you know, I was trying to pick my mum up from the hospital. I was trying to have a good day. And then, oh my God, what happened? My daughter disappeared. But it's really hard to keep track of time when you're trying to enjoy yourself.
Summer jacked her whole day up. She was trying to enjoy herself.
I know, right? She managed to end the day by trying on hats and talking to her best friend on the phone, right?
As detectives and deputies were combing her property looking for Summer.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on outside of that door. Nancy says, in my opinion, she's trying to take away from Summer's vigil. I had a lot of comments like this. Can't stand the attention on her missing daughter, or she's trying to take the focus off of Jody Sue. She said, keep digging, ladies. A nerve has been hit.
Yeah.
I wondered that too, because I don't think she wants Jody Sue saying anything more.
Unfortunately, that Pandora's box has already been opened. She don't have any control over that anymore.
Excuse me, hang on. Sorry, man, that just hit me out of nowhere. Ooh. So yeah, and imagine when Jody got her own channel, I bet she was madder than a wet hen.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, you know, Candace has had plenty of opportunity to tell her side of the story, to talk about her daughter, to raise awareness, to campaign, to do anything, to sit there for 24 hours a day like Jody Sue does, saying absolutely nothing. Candace has been given a lot of opportunity and at every turn has failed to take it. So, you know, my sympathy bucket for Candace is completely empty right about now. She never used social media for Summer's benefit. She used it for her own gain.
And it did not work in her advantage.
Nope.
I hate to burst her bubble. It did not work in her advantage.
I mean, she can't possibly think it did, ever, which is why it made no sense why she sent that message to those creators the other night, because she still can't think, after all of this time, that social media is going to rescue her or come to her aid or be good for her, because where's the evidence that it ever was and that she's ever used it in an appropriate manner for Summer?
No, breaking doors, fight with Dawn, passed out in the recliner, you know, serenading us as the dogs howl.
Yeah. Where's her daughter after all of this time? If social media was going to be what helped her to find her daughter, I think we would have probably done that by now. But no.
Nope. And here's a comment that we're all going to enjoy. I'll never understand why people take time out of their day to do this, but I liked it. Julie, 11 hours ago, said, squeezing every last drop. Bless you. Do another case. Julie, have you not been paying attention? I don't know if you're new to the channel. I do appreciate the advice. This is actually my own advice. I will continue to talk about Summer because her parents do not want us to. All right.
Exactly.
Word to the wise. Also, if you know how to use your phone or your laptop or your tablet, if you go to the channel and just scroll around, you will see that we cover a plethora of other cases.
What a great segue into your 1 year anniversary.
I enjoyed it. When I saw it, I was like, thank you, Julie.
Perfect comment.
And especially the way it was laid out for me. It wasn't you, Jules. Wasn't you, Jules.
No, it wasn't
you, Jules. Nope. And it says squeezing every last drop. Woo, I liked it.
That came from a comment from someone that's never done a day's podcast in their life, I think.
Nope, not our Jules. Our Jules wouldn't do that.
Nope.
Our Jules wouldn't do that. So we're going to play a happy birthday song, and we're going to start rolling down memory lane.
Yay.
I'm going to put the link up. Anybody that wants to come up, you are more than welcome. Thank you for that video, Kat.
You're always welcome, Brooks. I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of this channel as well. Always kept it really classy ever since day one. We don't have any, well, we do occasionally have a little bit of drama and whatever, but at the end of the day, we rise above it, and you've come through this really strong. I'm really proud to be part of this channel.
Classy might be a stretch, you know, more of
Oh.
a girl from down the road as opposed to the one next door. But anyway, we all have So we had so many cases over the last year. Became very good friends with Stacy Jones, one of the very first cases and one of the first real life people on the show with Stacy. Her daughter Michaela was murdered. The sheriff and many other people in the county were trying to convince her this was an overdose at a party. A silly teenager, and she wouldn't buy it. She would not. She put a billboard up. She got a second autopsy, and lo and behold, she was right. This was not an overdose. She is such an inspirational person. We're going to be doing another show about Michaela because it seems in her fight for justice for Michaela, which would be murder, not disposing of a corpse, which is all those guys have. She's sort of hit a dead end, and she's going to need a lot of our support.
Yeah, I hope she knows that she has a lot of support on the channel as well, because what she's going through, no mother ever should have to go through in terms of trying to get justice for their child who was murdered. And the way that the law enforcement, everything seems to be dealing with it, the courts and everything else, it must be just so disheartening and gutting for her at every turn. And I'm really proud of how she's continued to fight, and this channel has supported her to do that. She doesn't get a lot of coverage elsewhere, and I think it's a case that continue to cover, because at the end of the day, she doesn't really have too many people fighting her corner right now.
No, she doesn't, and I'm never going to give up on it.
No.
So every time she's got an update, and also it's very hard for her to do the show because it is emotionally taxing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, that kind of goes without saying, because no one would be able to get through this unscathed, what she's going through. But I'm really, I don't know, I wish her strength all the time, because every day she gets up and every day she fights for justice for her daughter. And that is a sign of a mother who's not going to be beaten down by people not picking up on the case. She's in the face of it regardless of it all. It's her daughter. So any support and all the support that she can get is so important.
Absolutely. And I just adore her strength, and she, like I said, she's become such a really good friend. You know, she's awesome. She's an inspiration.
Absolutely.
I do believe that it's going to work out her way. I do. I just think it's going to take a long time. We were talking the other day, and I said, sadly, justice is a crock pot, not a microwave.
Right.
And you've already fought this hard. I know you're not going to stop now. So also a year ago, hard to believe, the two cases we were talking about on the channel the most were Cash Gernon. He should have never been with Monica Sherrard. Him and his twin brother were basically hidden from their mother and grandmother. Monica was basically running a trap house. Cash was kidnapped from her house, taken down the street, murdered by DB, who is extremely mentally ill. And it's very hard for the family because, kind of Lori Vallow style, they've got to get DB mentally fit to face the judge, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I think happen. It will happen. Yeah. But everything leading up to his murder and his little life was just wrong.
Yeah. Really. And the fact that it's been this long since it happened and there's been no real justice for him either. I mean, it does seem to be, I mean, I live right next to the one of the biggest mental health prison hospitals in our country, Broadmoor Hospital. And a lot of people that are in there, their victims will never get justice because they're deemed too mentally unfit to be in society. So they have to be kept in like a prison hospital. And they, I don't know what the word is, mental incapacity or something to stand trial. So I just kind of wonder whether this case will ever be prosecuted in terms of, I hope it will, but I wonder whether they will just deem him mentally incompetent at the end of the day.
Well, it's Texas. It's a high profile case, garnered a lot of attention. The DA was fighting mad about it. There were so many elements to it, still is.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to get him as mentally fit as they can, and he's going to go in front of the judge. Not tomorrow, not today, you know?
I hope so, because it kind of seems to be a bit of a reoccurring theme through a lot of these cases nowadays that, you know, there's a lot of cases that you've covered where perpetrators or suspected perpetrators are claiming mental incapacity and are, you know, rotting away in mental health institutions instead of facing the justice system for the crimes that they may have committed, you know?
It sucks because well, it doesn't suck that we have a constitution, but
No.
if somebody is not fit enough to participate in their own defense, and I don't know what's wrong with them, I really don't, then they have to get them, well enough to be able to at least understand what's going on. That's
Right.
what I understand from why he hasn't gone to trial yet. Thank you, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess because the thing is, if they don't get him to that point and they put him on trial, then they'll just claim a mistrial, or there'll be some kind of, get out clause for the defense that he's still mentally incapacitated and unable to stand trial. So it makes perfect sense.
Right, and I don't think he'll ever see the light of day again. Not for what he did to Cash, because it was just gruesome.
Yeah.
Awful. And I feel so bad for his grandmother. Woo! That was one of my first YouTube lessons on what the internet does to people that have absolutely nothing to do with the crime. Like, didn't even want to listen to what was really going on. It was bad.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be another recurring theme through some of these cases, doesn't it?
Yep.
You know.
And I agree with Rock and Rolla. Monica should have been charged with neglect. They actually had a town hall meeting where they asked, I don't know if it was one of the law enforcement officers or if the assistant DA, one of the prosecutors, was up there. They did ask if there was going to be charges for Monica. And the way the lady answered it was basically, we are definitely looking into that. Because, I mean, you don't put children in situations like that. She had cameras all over her house, like nothing but paranoia. I mean, my God, sometimes, it's crazy. So another case we covered very early on the channel, and this is one that we had a group for, we did for Cash too, before the channel, was for Sophie Long.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that I put this group together for Kelly Long, her mother. And I've made it clear to people before, nothing against Kelly at all. I don't know Kelly. She's not like a personal friend of mine. If she was, it would be for Kelly. The group in the case was and still is about parental alienation.
Yeah.
It happens every day in cases of mom and dad split the sheets. Kids become weapons. With the case of Sophie Long and the way that Michael Long coached her into believing that all of this SA had happened against her. I mean, I'm talking 4 police officers one night, basically any uncle that had ever come across her, anybody that Kelly tried to date. She had to go through some of the most intrusive examinations you can put a grown woman through, let alone a little girl.
Absolutely.
Winds up kidnapping her. They are in, after he lost all parental rights. They find them in Mexico. They bring her back. I don't know where she's at. I know she's away from him, and with therapy, she's going to be fine.
Yeah.
That was actually a case that was crazy, 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 but it's so common and it's not talked about.
Yeah.
It is not talked about, the harm that it does to children. There was a case, I think, in Nebraska. Mom and dad break up. mom's keeping the kids away from dad. Dad actually goes to pick the kids up. Her father's there and kills him. It's no joke. I mean, hell, Brad Pitt's going through it right now. Angelina Jolie has him shut down. He cannot see his kids. That is wrong.
Yeah.
That is wrong to do. And you never convince your children that the person you chose to have them with is some kind of piece of shit, because that's part of them.
Yeah. This is the case that really, really brought parental alienation to the forefront of people's minds. I think before that, there have been other cases, but I think it was much more low profile. I think this case was really high profile, especially on YouTube and on Facebook. And I think what it went to show is what some parents are actually really capable of in terms of when it comes to their children. I think it was absolutely shocking what they put Sophie through. I'm glad that she's been found. I think that's an amazing outcome, especially given the odds and all the time that the case went on for. And I really hope and pray that she will come through it and she will grow to be a strong woman. And I hope one day that she's able to tell her story too, because I feel that's really important as well.
Well, and I'm also glad that the conversation is in the forefront now. And it happens to men more than women. It does.
Yeah.
Okay, now listen, if mom and dad break up, dad's he's physically abusive, SA, all that stuff, obviously we're not going to let the kids around dad ever again.
Right.
That goes without saying. But if this is a tick for tack, you hurt me, I'm going to keep the kids away from you, and that's what it always is.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's being used as a defense in custody cases now.
Yeah, definitely.
People understand what it is now. I'm waiting for the day it's a crime.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the day it's a crime, and I think it's coming down the pike.
Yeah, I think quite often you hear Amber Alerts and alerts for children that have been taken by one or other parent. And the concerns are that the parent may not be, stable enough to look after them. But there rarely seems to be, I think it was the little boy recently that was taken by his mother and his auntie. What was the child's name?
Nikki Rule.
Nikki Rule. I think that case kind of highlighted it a bit as well for me, in that there didn't seem to be a crime that had taken place, even though, because there was no custody arrangements, the child was able to be taken without any crime happening. And that's really scary. Like you said, when it becomes a crime, that will be the day when, the Sophie Long case has brought a change to the system for good, I think.
I think there'll be changes in that case too. Now, that case isn't alienation. His mother left him and his brother with Tally.
But when she took him,
well, there was no crime because she still had rights to him, and she is his biological mother.
Right. But I don't know, to me, I was just kind of thinking about the similarities.
I want alienation on the books because mom has rights, dad has rights. And for whatever reason, when it's dad's weekend, he's poisoning the kids. Yeah. Or, mom's got primary custody. So when it's dad's weekend, the kids are always sick. They've got birthday parties to go to. Or, you hear them in the back screaming, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. Yeah. Or they're bribed. If you stay here, we'll start planning our trip to Disney. Or, your dad has a new girlfriend. He doesn't want to see you anymore. There's all kinds of crazy stuff these people do to the kids to keep him in.
And actually, some of it is quite, what do you call it? Like, I can't think of the word. Like really under the surface kind of stuff. Like a kind of little bit like emotional abuse, where it can be really slight, seem really slight, but be taken as really deep. So, just that little constant nitpicking, like, oh no, your dad's a bit of a piece of shit, and oh no, we don't like him, we don't speak about him, stuff that might not actually be really obvious, but would be taken and would filter into that child's mind little by little and build up into a much bigger thing. It's I don't know what the word I'm trying to use, like a micro.
The child children actually, through this psychological warfare,
Mhm.
they want to be loved, and they want acceptance.
Yeah.
And if they know that the one that they live with is telling them all this,
Mhm.
they go along with it. They do. But what the parent that does this, the alienator,
Mhm.
I've read so much stuff about this. What they don't bank on is when that child starts thinking for themselves and they look
Yeah.
back, they realize what was done to them, and they
Mhm.
realize the time lost, and
Yeah.
it's not good for the alienator. Never comes out in their favor.
No. I think the build up of these kind of microaggressions over time is way more dangerous than anybody really realizes. And sometimes it comes from both parties, Brooks. You know, sometimes you've got the child is being told that their mum is a piece of shit, and then they go back to their mum and their mum's telling them that their dad is a piece of shit, and it just kind of settles into their mind. And that's what I was saying about, I hope that Sophie Long does one day, as an adult or as an older child, come out and tell her story, because she's got a lot to process, and there's a lot of emotional baggage and damage that's gone on under the surface. I mean, personally, I think that forcing a child to go through an internal examination because
Oh,
you know, that should be a crime.
a sane exam. And they have
Absolutely.
to do it because she's telling them.
Yep.
It got to the point where people were saying she was talking about all her fans and everything.
Right.
Had her convinced that she was going to meet Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
I mean, what he was doing to manipulate that girl,
Absolutely.
it became more sickening every day.
I mean, the actual process of going through those examinations on a child is possibly more traumatic than the acts that would have caused them to have to go through that. As do you know what I mean? And especially if she hadn't been through that, then putting her through those examinations was just as traumatic as if she'd been subjected to what she said in the first place, you know?
Makes me sick.
Hmm.
Makes me totally sick. But I'm glad that she is in a safe place where she can get therapy. I hope it goes well for her. I hope it goes well for her mom. And I hope Michael gets the help he needs, because he clearly needs it.
Hmm.
So, also early on, we talked about a case very close to my heart. Now, mind you, all the cases are, but this was my very first crime group, Breisha Tyrell. She went missing in July
Hmm.
of 2020. If I get any dates mixed up, guys, Aggie, you especially, let me know. Her body was found by fishermen
Hmm.
in March of 2021. Her
Yeah.
stepfather, who is also a sex offender, is in jail for her murder.
Hmm.
Um, Kind of Candace style, from when she went missing, Aisha immediately started living her best life.
Right.
Weeks after Breisha went missing, we have video of her in the group. It's been archived now. Um, Twerking at the club. She had new hair, new clothes. She was actually in her t-shirt, I believe. That was Breisha's missing.
Wow.
Yeah, twerking in the club. And her excuse, she was talking to people, was she didn't want to miss her birthday.
I haven't followed this case, I have to admit, and I don't know very much about it. The one thing that sticks out to me about the case is only that the reward money wasn't ever paid out, and that was something that I learned through you. But I mean, these mothers, like, I don't even know where to start with that, Brooks, to be honest with you. What,
Well, I mean,
why?
Rock and Rolla just gave me a reminder, Casey Anthony style.
Right.
She was. Her and her girlfriend. I mean, even when they have, them talking to the DA. One thing she said about Breisha, which made me extremely sick. Well, for one, she knew Dinkins, who she has a child with. She knew he was a SO. She knew it. I believe she brought Breisha to him. It could have been her mother. I get conflicting stories on that. Either way, either grandma or mom. I do know Aisha took clothes over there. At one point, she goes, well, the problem with Breisha is she's a truth teller. Well, what was she telling the truth about that got her killed, Aisha?
Right.
You should be in jail. You should be in jail.
I don't know how anyone can defend the actions. I mean, how anyone could knowingly get with a convicted SO and have a child for them and allow that to, there's just nothing. I mean, you can't even call her a mother. She's
No.
an egg donor. She's not a mother. There's no mother in the world that would willingly put their child through that.
Mm-mm. No. But I mean, a lot of people argued with me and they said, well, that's how she was raised. That's all she knows.
Really? And that makes it okay. You see, these people that say this kind of stuff, they say the same thing about Candace. They say it as if it makes it okay that that person then was treated like that all their life, grew up and never thought to change when it came to their own kids, because they didn't quite realize the impact it had on their life. So they never really wanted to like treat their kids any better. Is that it? Because to me, that's not an excuse. It's not a reason. It's not a reason in Candace's case, and it's not a reason in this case either.
It
You
is a
don't.
lot like Candace. What you said is exactly right, because Aisha, especially when it comes to the daughter, she's not like this with the sons.
Oh
I
wow.
didn't have a good life. Why
Mhm.
should she?
Right. Right. And but
I,
there's people that will
I,
say, well, well,
I was
obviously she's telling the
tossed
truth.
around. I was tossed around.
Uh-huh.
You
So
know, my,
that's
my
okay
mom,
then.
my mom didn't pay attention to me.
Right.
So why should she? They become very jealous of their own daughters.
I mean, I kind of feel like I'm bashing my head against a brick wall every time I hear someone say, well, she got treated badly. And of course, or even her saying, well, this is how I was treated. So what, why should my daughter have any better? What the hell? It's not an excuse and it's not a reason. There's nothing you can say to that except for, really pity the poor child that has to be subjected to the same life that their parents had. As a mother, and I'm not a mother, but as a mother, surely you want better for your children. That's just normal, isn't it? You want your children to have better than what you had. You don't want them to have worse or the same as what you had. It's crazy making.
No. Well, I mean, and that's how most of us are wired. And that gives me faith in humanity, all of you guys here, because that's how we think. We want to brag about our children. We want to
Absolutely.
say, my kids did way better than I ever thought of doing. That's what we want. That's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
You have some mothers that are like, I didn't have it that good. She's not going to either.
right. And how selfish and uninsightful is that? I mean, I just don't take it as an excuse. People can tell me all they like that these parents had hard lives and therefore, of course their children are going to have hard lives. I've done way too much work on myself to, if I did ever have a child, to inflict upon them what was inflicted upon me. Way too much work, and that's because I'm an adult and I take responsibility, and I don't really see that there's an excuse not to,
Mhm.
especially when you have children. There's no excuse.
No, there's no excuse at all. No excuse. Also, very early on the channel, last June, another one of the first real life people that came on was little Corey Mikalo. I never can pronounce the last name, guys. Sometimes I can. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. His mom, Bree, came on many times, and his grandmother, Corey, was murdered by his father.
Mm.
Uh,
Has
they
there
had
been?
they had a video of him on a treadmill where he kept falling down. His father basically bit him on the head, is what it looked like to me. And so they get the dad for endangerment. She had gone to CPS, the police, you name it, to keep him away from his father. I'm not even going to say this guy's name. With her social media campaign, coming on shows, talking to the media, finally, Corey's, well, not a father, is
Mm.
in jail for murder.
Yeah,
And I am so happy for Bree, not that this happened to her son,
mm.
but that she did not give up for a minute. She's another fighter and a mother I celebrate. So we're
Yeah,
talking about women like Candace, Aisha, Casey Anthony came up. Then you have women that are like, they put their whole life on hold and they're like, say whatever you want to say about me in social media. Because I've seen some stuff people have said about Stacy and
mhm,
Bree that it makes my face fall off.
yeah,
And they're like, I am not going to stop until the person that hurt my baby
yeah,
never sees the light of day. My hat's off to Bree.
Yep, and I think it's really important that you celebrate the women that are fighting, and well, not just the women, the parents that are fighting for their kids, and talk about the parents that aren't, because both of those things are equally as important. There's a reason to absolutely celebrate and have on your channel the women that are doing everything that they can, and there's a reason to talk about the women that aren't and the people that aren't, because you know the victims are still as important as each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to show that there are good outcomes in these cases, not good outcomes for the children, obviously, but good outcomes in terms of who's fighting for them, who's got their back, who's got their corner, who's trying, who's putting themselves out there. These women are being beaten down every day by the system.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that YouTube channels like yours picks up on them and puts them up on your channel and talks about them and their children's stories is one of the things that keeps them going.
Well, and that's why I put this comment up, Kate,
Mm-hmm.
for Big Little Voices. It's not easy for women like Bree. For one, this is not her world. She doesn't know how to tackle
No.
cops and lawyers and CPS. She's a very trusting woman.
Yeah.
And I've had these conversations with Bree, and she's such a fighter. That didn't occur to her.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't ever occur to her. She was just, that's it. She's going to keep on keeping on until something happens. And like I said, my hat's off to her. My hat's off to her. I'm going to bring up our friend Shannon Georgia Peach, and I have dropped the link, and we can just all have an open discussion. Good morning, Shannon.
Shannon.
Hey, good morning. How is everybody? Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary or birthday, whatever you want to call it, to all of us.
Yes,
Yay.
I'm so proud. So proud.
Proud of you guys.
Teary-eyed.
Proud of everybody in here. You guys are awesome.
Yes, love this community. I love you guys. And you got me through some hard times last year. So I appreciate you and all of chat for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shannon.
I think we've all gotten each other through some hard times. We've
Absolutely.
made lifelong friendships.
Yes.
Lifelong friendships.
Absolutely.
I agree.
One case that I haven't been able to get off my mind, and I've only done one show on it. Okay, that's my fault because it was a very hard show to get through. And that was Marie Holland. Her mother sold her to a drug dealer. She called 911, said she had been abducted. A few days later, she gave all of her toys away to like a local church, I believe. Police worked very fast. They had it sewed up really fast. Found her dead that night. What happened to her was brutal. Brutal.
God.
Wow.
Mom's in jail. The POS that she sold her to is in jail. And I know we did the show. We had a lot of people. They were lighting up the comments saying this could have happened to Summer. Just because they found Marie that fast doesn't mean they can find Summer that fast.
Right.
Evil.
Very.
Oh, look at her. She is evil. She is sick. Bailey, thank you for the super sticker. She's disgusting.
In cases like that, you just think that jail's really too good a place for them, you know. I mean, we don't have the death penalty in this country, but if we did, I can imagine that no one would bat an eyelid if those two pieces of shit were put through that.
I don't know. I think when it comes to children, eye for an eye. What was done to you or to them should be done right back to that parent or whoever. I know that can't happen.
Yeah,
but
take her ass to the abandoned house.
Right.
Right. A penny and donate the penny to the local wishing well.
Right.
Exactly.
The trouble is to enact that kind of punishment, you're going to have people that are as sick as they are to do it, because most people wouldn't find that kind of action, those kind of actions, okay or normal to do to anybody, you know.
No, and in this country, unfortunately, you've got, say this, don't do this, don't do that. But, that'll never happen. It's just these parents, it makes me cringe and angry. And it's like, let us put you through what you did to your kid. See how you like it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh, I
But
agree with you, absolutely. I just think I would find it really, I mean, obviously the anger's there and the complete violation and everything makes you so angry and so, but I mean, to actually carry out what they carried out on another human being is just beyond most people's realms of what they could actually do. You just think like shoot them or something, just like put
yeah,
them through some kind of waterboarding torture or something and leave them to it, it's hard.
Their own
well,
children. That's what I can't
yeah,
get over. Their own children.
Hmm.
you think about, you carry that baby for 9 months,
Right.
or some people adopt, and you hold that tiny, beautiful little baby in your arms, and how you get from that to that is
Right. What
it.
has to
I will
break in your head?
never understand. Yeah,
What has to
I don't.
break in your head? Like, at what point does something go that wrong in your head that you could subject any child, let alone your own child, to that kind of outcome? I mean, it's just disgusting. It's just no, like I said earlier, no excuse. There's no excuse for child abuse, and that's the bottom line. I don't understand these people at all.
They're defenseless.
Hmm.
You know, defenseless.
They are
But
defenseless, and not to skip around. That's why I want parental alienation on the books, because
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. It's child abuse.
Yeah.
it is, and I made a little comment in the chat earlier. Even though me and my husband's ex are hunky dory, for years she did that, a lot of that. And, you know, I kept telling him, kids will become adults. As adults, we've all looked back at our childhoods and thought, hmm, that doesn't make sense. That wasn't right. You start questioning things, right? And I told him, these kids are not going to stay babies and little long. They'll grow up and remember it
Hmm.
was great at daddy's house. And sure enough, guess where they want to be? They want to be at daddy's house. I hope she's not listening, but you know what I mean? Like, they look back and they see where the manipulation was, where the lies were, um, and it comes back, and that's abusive to them because they're hurt over all that.
Yeah, and the problem
They,
is they don't have that capacity to recognize it while they're still
no,
children. They have to live
they
with that
trust
their
their
whole
parents.
life.
They trust
Right.
their parents. They trust what they're being
Yeah.
told. The one putting the
Exactly.
dinner plate on the table for them every night, they're going to trust them more, even
Hmm.
if they know something's not right. That's how it goes. And to me, it's abuse. What happened to Ca Marie is beyond abuse.
Hmm.
Alabama is a death penalty state. I hope
Hmm.
those two sleep well knowing that.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too.
So then we get
Absolutely.
to a case that took up a lot of our time, and it was one of the nuttiest things I've ever seen. Heartbreaking. Domestic violence has got to end. Gabby Petito.
Mm.
Mm.
Woo! I
Yeah,
still kept saying that Brian Laundrie was probably in New York. Hell, he was in the swamp the whole time.
hmm. Oh, you weren't the only one that had weird thoughts about where Brian Laundrie was. I mean, it was everywhere, wasn't it? He was in Mexico, he was in New York, he was in Utah, he was in Nebraska, he was everywhere. He just wasn't where he actually was. And I was so confused why they continuously went back and back and back to search that swamp. I was getting to the point where I was just like, seriously? Like, why are you still searching there? And then, of course, that's where he was found, and that's where he'd been the whole time.
And we know that that's him. And I know a lot of people are still out there saying, with the conspiracy theories, it's
Mm.
him. I just find it odd, and this is just my opinion. I think, as sick as these parents may be, um, they had to say their goodbyes, and that's why they took the car. And they knew exactly where he would be when that
Hmm.
water level went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
thought he was
really
in
do.
the flower bed. And, it goes without saying in any case when someone is missing. Okay. In this case, we knew where Gabby was, and we know that he's responsible, and it's absolutely disgusting. But they always say, oh, it's not that far from Mexico. Now, how Michael Long got into Mexico with Sophie, I'll never know. But that's the only case I've ever seen where they were actually in Mexico that I've covered. I don't mean ever, but that we've covered on this channel or in our groups.
Right.
Mexico takes a lot of the brunt of where these people are hiding when they don't actually happen to be hiding there. Hear it quite often.
No. And Gabby reminded so many people of their own child.
Yeah, definitely.
She reminded me of my stepdaughter.
Yeah, and my daughter too.
And then we have the whole his parents, deflecting for him. Yeah. I get protecting your child, but now we have a lawsuit. Mm-hmm. I mean, her parents are suing them. Yep. And I don't think they're so much concerned about money. It's just there's a Lifetime movie coming out. There's going to be other things. And I think they want to make sure they don't even get a dime of that money.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if they would have the nerve to, but it just might be a protection thing. I don't know. If you guys know something else, let me know.
Yeah.
No, and I think to change the... Go ahead, Kat. Sorry.
I was just going to say, remember at the beginning when it was the first set of police cam video came out, and all the emphasis was on Gabby being the aggressor. And then after a while, the second body cam footage came out, which obviously proved that she was a victim. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was one of the biggest moments in the case for me, was the attitude and the investigation, I guess, into who was the aggressor in this domestic violence situation. And I think that was a big turning point when they realized that actually Gabby was actually the victim, not the aggressor in this case.
She was.
And a lot of us saw it too.
Well, and couples do fight. Couples do fight. They do. Sorry, they do. They have arguments. Things get out of hand. Yeah. She was murdered. Hang on, we got Andrew Hiltz backstage. Hold on. Hello, Andrew. How are you?
Oh, I'm good this morning.
Well, good.
Happy birthday.
We can barely.
My mic screwing up again?
Do what?
I said, is my mic screwing up again?
We can hear you better now. Can everybody hear Andrew?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to all of you.
Oh, yes.
The channel's a year old. Oh. It's not my actual birthday, mine. People think it's my birthday. No, my birthday's not till next week. It's the channel's birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday to your channel.
Yes. So what's going on, my friend? I got a bunch of people backstage. You just here to say happy birthday, or do you have an update for us? Because everybody's been waiting.
What's the update about? What do you want to hear? I got good news, bad news, shitty news. What do you want first?
Do we want good news, bad news, or shitty news from Andrew?
I say let's go with the good news first.
The good news, Andrew.
Good news is I got to talk to her yesterday.
Got to talk to who?
My son yesterday.
Oh, good.
He's doing all right. I don't like his hairstyle,
though. No parent does. As sons, I can attest to that.
Flip, long hair shit. Don't miss those days. But that's the good news. Bad news is I woke up to another YouTuber running their mouths, and yeah, I wasn't too happy. And I don't sleep very well, so yeah, my day's been shot.
Well, you just have to ignore that stuff and move on.
Well, the thing is that
and move on.
Well, the thing about that is that she used to be one of my mods and was a close and got close to me and my family here, and now she flipped the script and is out there running her mouth. And it's like, dude, seriously, like you don't even know half of what's going on, so you just need to stop and leave my family alone and my son alone. And right now, she went from running her mouth on my channel to Purple Knights' channel, and it's like, dude, just stop.
Well, like, any leadway with getting charges on Candace
Nothing
County?
nothing of late unless I go down there.
Okay.
Why don't you go down there then?
Well, I'm right now as it stands, it's going to cost me $800 alone just to go down there.
But it's for your son, right?
Well, I did yesterday on live. I called around to bus stations, airports, just to try to get a rough estimate of how much I was going to need to be able to go down and visit Hunter for a few days. Which, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. You know? And as it stands, by bus, it'll cost me $212 one way, plus $55 to go from Johnson City to Kingsport.
Yeah.
And then it's going to cost me $86 a night for 2 nights at the local hotel. And then you got food. And then I still have to have $55 to take the cab back to the bus station. And then another $212 to take the bus from there back home.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I would call them, because you can actually file police reports online.
Yep.
I don't think you necessarily have to be there in person. I would try that first.
Oh yeah, I'm doing a little bit of this and that where I can. I just got my internet back. It's been a little rough because, you know, I have work for a couple of weeks and then I don't, you know.
And it's tough times.
Oh yeah, but listen, people think just because people are out there, some people, not all, I'm not saying all, but some people are like, yeah, well, if he's making $800 to $1,200, he shouldn't have a problem. Listen, $800 alone pays my rent.
Yeah.
And then I have my electric bill, my $109 phone bill, and you know, I got all this other shit I got to take care of. My cats, my kid.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like I'm making $700 in the next week alone. And out of all that money, the only shit I'm going to have left is $31 out of $700.
Well, that's not going to get you down to Tennessee, is it?
No.
That's why I said I would be calling them and I would say, you know, I'm going to file this online, or I'd make a written statement and fax it to them is what I would do. Where there's a will, there's a way, my friend. And you know how to get hold of me.
Yeah. But listen, I went to a couple weeks ago. I went over to my local family court, where the last I knew, that's where my custody and visitation paperwork is. You know what I mean? Because everything that has to do with Hunter comes out of Fulton County, New York. Because that's where he was born. And I was like, okay, cool, you know? So I went down like I normally would to get a new copy of my paperwork because I lost it somewhere. And they said, well, we don't have it anymore. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have it anymore? They're like, well, it's as of last year, it was all transferred to Tennessee. So I was like, oh, okay. Oh,
Brooke,
God.
Brooke, I'm going to be right back. I've just got to go and tune the world's smallest violin.
Oh, the world's smallest violin.
Okay, Peace and Happiness said call New York 411. They have resources for you. So
I'll try it.
As far as you getting down there, I don't know, but I mean, if like the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and I fully encourage you,
oh, careful, watch my boot.
son,
No
and
camera.
hopefully to get things rolling for summer, get some pressure put on there that you start in Sullivan County, because that's where the crime was committed.
Yeah, but see, this is what I want to do, because I know the vigil was coming up. So I was trying to see if I couldn't find a way to get down there beforehand, so I could just sit on the front porch and hang out with Hunter for a couple of days, plus make sure that certain YouTubers aren't going to sneak off and go try to bug him. Because remember, he's still underage, and he's just trying to live his life.
Yeah, but Andrew, it was never really down to YouTubers to protect your son. That was kind of your job.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to do. And then him and I got into a little argument. We said shit to each other we didn't mean, and now we're good. You know,
yeah, for 15 years.
You know?
Hun, I'm going to get back to the show. I appreciate you coming up.
Yep, not a problem. I got to let you go anyway. I got company that just rolled in.
All right. Well, you take care of your company and make those phone calls. If you need my help, we can do it on a live. I'll put you on and we'll talk to them anytime.
All right. I'll let you know.
Thanks, Andrew.
No problem. Later.
Bye.
All right, we got Aggie backstage. Aggie's
Hey,
never been.
Aggie.
Hi.
Aggie, thanks for
Aggie.
being a big part of the channel. You were one of the
Hello.
first members of the Breisha Tyrell Facebook group.
Yes, I was.
How are you, Aggie?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good, thank you. It's good to see you.
I'm
Good
glad
to
you're
see you.
here.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
So
I'm so
besides
glad.
Breisha, because I know Breisha and Summer obviously have been very upsetting to you, what cases have we talked about on the channel that really got you going?
Oh, besides those two, I would have to say, I would have to say Michael Vaughn.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's actually going to be the last segment of the show.
Yeah.
So stick around because I got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
know
would have
that
to say.
case is close to my heart too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Aggie, I don't think you know how important you are on this channel. And when you're not in chat, people are like, where's Aggie? Some people call you Aunt Aggie.
And I don't know why a lot of people call me Angie. It's Aggie.
Angie?
Angie?
Yeah.
Your name's
Angie.
Aggie.
Yeah. There's two G's, not an N.
Yeah, I see that.
Well, people think
Yeah.
my name is Brooke. Like they think either I don't know how to spell my own name or I just have a lisp.
Yeah, I've seen that too, Brooks. Or I see BROOKES. I've seen that one too.
Oh, well, it is what it is. You know, I pretty much answer to anything. I mean, I've seen "Hey, bitch" in chat. I'm like, what?
I know. I was just to say, it's better than being called another word.
What do you want?
That's so true. That's so true. But you, Brooke,
I'm
I've
here.
been with you. I've been with you since Facebook,
Yep.
and we had a trip in Facebook, huh? We dealt with some
That was something
crazy
else. Ooh,
people.
there was some crazy stuff going on. We got through it. We laughed together. We cried together. We were all together the day they announced they had found Breisha. And you have a heart for these kids and these cases, Aggie. And I'm happy to know you.
I am so happy to know you too.
All right.
And
Yes.
and I love you. And I told you, you're my sister,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm with you to the end.
With you
You
to
know
the
that.
end. If you got
Yes.
an extra $800 laying around, you can send it to Andrew Hiltz today too.
I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm
yeah.
sorry, but I I can spend that $800 on myself.
Yeah,
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna email him after the show and just be like, look, I will do a show and I will call them for you. We're gonna make this very easy. I know he's still listening. We're gonna make this very easy.
You're going to get him a job.
No, I'm not an employment service, but I can call the police. You guys have heard me do it before. You've heard him flat out tell me. I'm not telling your ass anything.
Oh, okay, right. So he doesn't actually have to travel down there then. He can just call them.
Yeah, he can just.
You can
Which
go
would save him,
online.
like,
You can call all that
$800.
stuff. Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing what technology can do these days, isn't it?
Yep.
For free.
But it sounded like, honestly, he wants to come down and see his son. I will give him credit for that. But
Yeah,
where there's a will, there's a
helpful.
way when it comes to your kid. I'd pawn something if I had to.
Yeah, to
You
be
know what I
fair,
mean?
it's difficult when
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
when your
that's
YouTube
very
channel's
true.
been when your YouTube channel's been taken down and you can't put your cash up out every day. It's quite hard to make money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can
And
I just say,
he didn't ask us for any money. He just explained how much it's going to cost to drive down there. This is just a joke, and Andrew knows I'm joking. He didn't ask for any money, but you know, I'm going to email him again, explain that he just really needs to call them. He just really needs to call them.
can I just say one more thing, Brooke?
Well, you're sure.
I just want to talk to the chat and just say how much I love you guys and how beautiful. And I'm so glad that I see you guys every day of the week, that you're here. When you're not here in the chat, I worry about you guys. I love you all so much.
Oh,
And I'm glad.
Aggie, you're so sweet.
And I'm
We
so
love you.
and I'm so glad that you guys are all part of our channel. You make our life. Thank you.
And you
Well,
do,
we feel the same.
because you will message me as soon as the show's over and say, I haven't seen such and such and such and such and such and such. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to get a hold of them. You do.
That's
You
just,
really worry and you welcome everybody. You know who's in here.
yeah,
Yep.
that's just because I love them all.
Well, everyone loves you. Let's have a round of applause for Aunt Aggie.
Yay.
Woo!
Great mod. Great mod.
I'll see you in chat and in the members live, okay, my sister?
All right, babe.
Oh,
Hello, Deb. What you
Hey,
doing?
Deb.
Dad.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Really good. Really good.
Good.
Enjoying the celebrations today.
Yes. So happy anniversary to you, Brooks, and happy birthday to the channel.
Happy birthday. CLL is the big one.
Yes.
Yep.
And we've got the best community on YouTube, I believe. Great people, great friends that we've made. Always the same people. We're always respectful, agree to disagree. The chat is amazing here, and you're amazing. You guys are all amazing.
And we've made lifelong friends. People, I mean, have become friends, got to go visit each other. We have like people that have become romantically involved that are getting married.
I know.
Been amazing. And I'm glad that you said that, about the agree to disagree. Cool. We say it in every show. We respect each other's opinions, even when that one dude's in here calling me a racist. That's fine. That's just, I kind of miss it.
We miss Potato. We miss Potato.
Yeah, Potato was my favorite Kool-Aid man. He would always come in and talk with me. I was just thinking about it this morning. We've like Eileen's in here. She was in the show yesterday. People, we are okay, but we don't agree. We have done shows on some hot topics. Well, everything's a hot topic, really. But I mean, yesterday, the Tulsa shooting. The week before, I did a show about Uvalde, the shooting in Texas. We did a show about the school shooting in Michigan. We already know that there is no way it can't get political. And I'm telling you, I have seen other channels where they're talking about the exact same issues. And that chat was a dumpster fire. I couldn't even watch it. And in here, everybody is so cool. I've even seen people go, yeah, I respectfully disagree. Now every now and then somebody will storm out. Because like I said, every now and then we get lucky and the trash takes itself out.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, the less it's on my plate, the better. I'm actually pretty lazy.
Nah.
Well, ladies, I'm going to let Brooks, I'm going to let you bring someone else up. Just wanted to say happy anniversary and happy first birthday to CLL. And love you, ladies.
Love you,
Love you, Deb.
Bye.
Here's another good friend of mine who has been around since way before the channel. Just roll with it. Mark Fullerton has been missing 2 years today. I put that on the page this morning. And I absolutely love his family. I was just talking to his dad last week. And he wants Mark's son to come on too. I don't know about that. I have to talk to his Aunt Jonna first. But we are definitely going to do a show about Mark Fullerton. And I tell you what, just roll with it. She took that one head on, man. The work she did on that, I'm telling you. So we've had 2 happy endings in the last year. Nikki ruled. Anytime we hear a child is missing, has been kidnapped, we kind of can play the tape to the end and we know we're going to get bad news. Tally is not that woman. She's not somebody you want to mess with. And I'm not saying any of the other mothers are that have abducted children. I'm talking about this case in particular.
Yeah.
She put social media to work. She now has her grandson back. And I couldn't be happier for her.
Absolutely.
Have you seen the pictures on Facebook, Brooks, of the boys just so happy to be together?
Oh,
it made me cry. It was so. I'm just so happy for her.
Oh, I am too. The only other happy ending we've gotten, well, I guess two more really. It's Josh Duggar's sentencing. Some people weren't happy with the 12.5 years. I was actually surprised by it. I was actually hoping more for 20. So even though what he did was absolutely disgusting and horrific, and I think he should never be allowed around a computer or children again, we do at least know he'll have 20 years of heavy supervision after he gets out. And I think with all the eyes on the case, I don't really think that Homeland Security is going to drop the ball on that. It's not like they're dealing with Tonytown Police Department. They're dealing with Homeland Security.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other day we discussed the Johnny Depp verdict. And
Yeah.
very surprised to see that, well, because of his attorney and something he said, he owes Amber $2 million. Well, hell, he's got that in his piggy bank. But
Right.
she's worth $9 million and now owes him 15. That's gotta hurt.
Yep. And also, I think it was a great outcome for Johnny Depp. But I think it was a really bad outcome for genuine survivors and people that are currently suffering from domestic violence. Because Amber Heard, in my opinion, absolutely trashed every single one of those women by saying the things that she said. She trashed their stories. She trashed their survival. She trashed every bit of it because she was trying to make out like she was one of those victims. Shame, shame, shame on you, Amber Heard.
And there wasn't one woman that didn't hear her testimony. One in particular, which was extremely gruesome, that we were like, no woman could go through that physically without a medical intervention. You would have to see a doctor.
Right.
And it's like, we already knew you had a toxic relationship. You didn't tell anybody in the world anything new, that he drinks too much, that he does some drugs. Okay. He admits that. You weren't, that was not any groundbreaking news.
Right. And by coming out and saying stuff like that happened when it didn't happen, just does such a massive disservice to people that suffer this kind of thing every single day behind closed doors. You know, I was just absolutely thoroughly sick to my stomach about the stuff that she put out there as being true fact. You know,
and wanting to be the poster child of domestic violence.
Absolutely.
Please.
How sick is that?
Yeah.
How sick is that? She's done nothing to further the cause of domestic violence sufferers, unless it's to, you know, unless they feel strengthened to come forward and tell their story. I mean, she's done nothing. It's just absolutely shameful. Shame on her.
This morning on Good Morning America, her lawyer was on and had the audacity to say the first thing that came out of her mouth when she left the courtroom into the back room was something to the effect of, I'm ashamed for all the DV people out there. I did them a disservice to them. I messed it all up for them. Something like that.
Yeah, you messed it all. She messed it all up for them because she lied about every single thing that she said happened to her. So yeah, she messed it up for them. Own it, Amber.
But she meant it in the way of, you know, I was the voice for them.
Right,
and
exactly.
Right. It was disgusting. If you watch the interview, it's disgusting. One of them morning shows. But anyway.
Well, I think that the survivors of domestic violence can actually use this to strengthen them more and start calling out people, because you lie once and she's a very public person. Actually, nobody knew who the hell she was until
I didn't.
Right.
Well, actually, until the UK trial.
I mean, she is now, not in a good way. But when you lie once, everything else is subject to approval, if you know what I mean. And she did it right on the stand. I've been waiting for perjury charges.
Well, I hope that follows, to be honest.
Yeah, I listened to one of the jury members too. Sorry, Kat.
No, you're fine. I was just saying I hope that she faces every charge possible for everything that she's done. She's damaged the credibility of people that are genuinely suffering from the kind of stuff she said happened to her. Shocking.
Exactly. Exactly.
Another high-profile case we talked about extensively was the Alabama manhunt. I'll never get over it. How a law enforcement officer falls in love with a violent criminal.
Right.
Which he did. She fell in love with Casey, got him out of jail, and everything from the U.S. Marshals to, I mean, every agency in the country was looking for them because he's extremely violent. And as we know, he's back in Alabama and she is dead.
Crazy stuff.
Never get over that.
Yeah, he's the one who gave himself up right away. I didn't do it. She did it. That's what kind of shocked me.
Can you help my wife? When I heard that, I was like, oh man, I tell you what, Car Wash James, I know that petition's going around. He deserves that reward money. What that officer in Indiana said, oh no, we were already on to it.
Right, yeah.
No.
Make sure, if anybody has an update, let me know, because I've been looking. Car Wash James deserves the reward money.
Absolutely.
Justice for Car Wash James is what I say. He was doing their job for them. And then they took all the credit for it.
Yeah.
He did. He had Casey and one of the getaway cars at his car wash. He had him on CCTV. Yep. They were staying basically catty corner from the police station, hiding in plain sight.
Yep.
And didn't they not believe him at first either?
Didn't believe him?
Yeah, didn't they not, when he first tried to tell him?
I think
the police.
I think they just didn't put it together, because what he was saying, it looks like that guy from the news. He's like, I watch the news all the time. It looks like that guy from the news. Yeah. They didn't seem to take him seriously.
Right.
Thank you, bedtime clown. Thank you. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, that's one of the craziest things. We've definitely had some heartbreaking moments on the show when we were covering Lily Peters. We still will, as there's updates. While we were live, there was an announcement that her body had been found. She was killed by her cousin. We didn't find that out until a couple of days later. Yeah. And when children commit horrific acts, it's really something that we can't all process. But I was so proud to be a part of this community that day, that we all heard together. And you guys have heard me cry on the show a million times, and we all got through it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. That was tough. It's still tough.
Yeah.
I think the community is amazing, the way that everyone supports each other. It was the same during the Gabby Petito thing when, the announcement was made about Gabby Petito and stuff. It's so really difficult, but everyone really supported each other in the chat and on the panel, and I thought it was just an amazing thing.
We sat through the funeral together, the press conferences from the coroner, the FBI, and every time we came on, we were just like, deep breath, we can do it. We can do it. And we did. And we're going to continue on. Lots of cases. Now, according to Julie, squeezing every last drop, aren't you? Why don't we cover another case? Well, we are, what time is it? Jeez. We are almost an hour and a half into the show, and we've talked about tons and tons of cases. Julie, I hope you catch us on the replay, because you're my favorite person today.
Thank you for the segue. It was really, really good timing.
Oh, when I saw it, I died laughing, because I had been going through all the cases from the last year, and I'm like, this one's for you, Julie.
Right.
Not Jules. Not our friend Jules.
No, not Jules.
Our new friend Julie. All right, a case I have talked about in the Facebook groups, but had never covered until last week. It is straight out of a horror movie, the Delphi case. I'm going to do another show about it next week. I cannot believe that these two girls were dropped off. They were out of school that day. There was no school. Abby and Libby, they wanted to go to, just walk this trail where lots of people do. It's a very heavily trafficked area. I don't mean trafficked in that way. And they go out little after 1 o'clock. Libby's dad shows up a little after 3. He's calling. So in 2 hours, these 2 girls meet Bridgeman and are found brutally murdered the next day. We do not know a cause of death, just that the murder scene was staged, and according to the FBI, there was exorbitant amounts of blood everywhere.
Oh God, yeah.
This case will give you nightmares, and I'm telling you, anything, and I mean, it went on in 2017. I can find on it. Oh,
and there's not been anyone brought to justice in this case yet either, has there?
nope. Ron Logan is dead. Keegan is in jail for CP, and it's like 30 felonies on him.
Wow.
And he was up to bad stuff. I think the holdup is there's unidentified DNA on the girls, and somebody took a souvenir. They have Keegan's DNA because, well, he's in jail. I mean, they've got the cheek swabs, they've got the hair samples, they've got all that.
Right.
So whose DNA is on the girls?
Right.
Do you think there's possibly more than one perpetrator involved in this?
Absolutely, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I do.
If there's more than one set of DNA as well, that kind of says that it wasn't just one person that acted alone. This was a group of people, possibly.
But they haven't found Keegan's DNA on them, and that's really, but to have, for Libby to take a video, who's basically the hero of the day. Abby's the hero too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
She takes the video, you see him approaching them over the bridge. So you see the guy. You hear this eerie clip of him saying, down the hill. Then later he says, guys, down the hill. So it's a 43-minute clip, not minute, sorry, edit, not minute, second, 43-second clip. I would love to know what else was in that exchange, because she has a phone in her hand. If there was any sort of aggression going on, she would have easily started screaming, dialing 911. They could have ran. So I'm trying to, I would just like to know what the conversation was to coax them down the hill.
Right. Wow.
And she was scared enough to video it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She obviously felt there was something, because otherwise she wouldn't have been videoing, would she?
I don't know. I really don't know what the video was about. If it was out of fear, or they thought they were going to, meet the boys they thought they had been talking to. I don't know. I just, I can't wait for everything to come out and the families to get justice. And not Lily, I was reading another note. Libby and Abby can get the justice they deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need it.
Absolutely. Of course, we had the family of Dominic Crankle on a couple of weeks ago. Horrific. Bullies caused horrific burns to Dominic. I'm very happy that his family is finally to safety. Dominic is healing well. And as you saw him on the show, he was happy-go-lucky little boy. And it was almost like he didn't remember anything that happened.
Yeah, that was a crazy one as well. Just pray that we get justice for him, I guess, because it was obviously awful situation to happen to him.
And that's going to be a situation we probably won't know. I don't even know if the parents will be able to be told what's going to happen, considering the age of the child that did I'm going to just go ahead and call it an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful what happened to him.
Mm.
It was clearly awful when we were all together and we got the news about Serenity McKinney.
Yeah.
I still, nothing more that I have found has come out as to exactly what happened to her. We know that her mom and the mom's boyfriend are in jail. None of us were surprised, considering those two hightailed out of town when they realized the gig was up. But that will definitely be a show that we're going to do a follow-up on soon. Julie should be happy about that.
Yeah, justice for Serenity, definitely.
Justice for Serenity. Justice for Serenity. I hear that her mother is pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And then
That's
what we
not
have is what maddens me the most, not that murder of children doesn't. And like I said, the Delphi case gives me nightmares, and don't even get me going on Call Marie. But what frustrates us on this channel every day are the children we have talked about and we cover that are still missing. Madison
Yeah.
Boudreaux, Monkey Vaughn, Oakley Carlson, Harmony Montgomery, Cody Bigsby, and Summer Wells. Gone, vanished.
But someone knows something in every single one of those cases.
Yep, they do.
Especially Harmony and Candace. Those 2
Mhm.
right there. I mean,
Well, and
come
you
on.
can't tell me Oakley's parents don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
The mother's the one that made the rumor up that she was eaten by wolves.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Almost said bear. Yeah. Madison, that dude that's in jail, he knows what happened to her that day.
Yeah.
Monkey Vaughn, everything that has been put in the papers that I can see is he was abducted.
Mhm.
I have faith that he's going to come home. It really reminds me of the Sean Hornbeck case.
Yeah.
Harmony
I
Montgomery,
hope so.
Adam knows, and Kayla has a really good idea. Cody Bigsby, your daddy knows.
Yeah.
His dad knows. Summer, your mom was there.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And the ones that aren't fighting for their children will continue to fight for.
Absolutely.
And the ones that are fighting for their children will continue to support
and advocate for them. Yeah, definitely.
Deb brought up the Turpin story. Yeah, the Turpin story. It's bittersweet because some of the kids are doing great. They're doing great there. I mean, they're Instagram famous, man. I mean, they're on to new careers. They advocates, and then the minor siblings have been abused further in their foster homes. We're going to do a follow-up about the Turpin family this month.
Is there an update?
I didn't know that.
Is there an update about the financial situation that was going to come out at some point this year?
Oh, they're missing like $600,000,
Right.
I believe it was. Now that's sadly, for some reason, nobody has time to look into that in California.
Right.
I'm
I
not
thought there was
shocked.
going to be some kind of investigation into it that was going to conclude at some point this year.
At some point, yeah.
At some point.
Accountants who are supposed to be really good with money, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
At some point, me doing it would actually be at some point, because I'm not good at those things. Forensic accountants probably already have this seamed up.
Right.
Get it? Never will.
Where's their money?
Where's their money?
Yeah.
$600,000 for 13 kids is not very much.
I remember we had people in that chat that day that you were talking about that case that had actually donated money as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We did. We had some mad people saying, I donated.
Mm-hmm.
Thought one lady was going to hightail it to California and ask herself.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to keep on keeping on. And like I said, it's just all of these cases are sickening. They're maddening. And everyone here is so awesome that they come in and we keep it light, don't we, guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It can be really tough when you're dealing with really difficult subjects to, not appear flippant and not appear to be too light-hearted. But by the same score, I think this channel's got the balance just about right. There's never a time when you would make fun or make light-hearted of something that's really serious. But by the same score, it's a safe place to come and a safe place to have a giggle sometimes, not at the expense of anyone, but just because, sometimes you find humor in a dark place, I guess.
You have to. We don't victim shame here. Never have, never will. Just will not do it. And I know some people get off on that. Hey, whatever, this isn't for you. And I've told people, this may not be for you. We may not be, your crew. You can't sit with us.
Yeah, you can't change for everybody. We just have to try to be, especially for all of our mental healths. And I noticed a lot of the chat that I've gotten to know through chat, we've all gone through something traumatic. And I feel like we're all there for each other, even if it's just in chat or Discord. And we all find that balance of, having a giggle at like for example, Candace in the hoodie or the this or her actions. You know, we have to kind of laugh at some of this stuff
Yeah.
because it's
Okay.
so
Right.
ridiculous.
Same. That's why, I mean, there's a few channels where you've got someone who's basically got the same education as me trying to be the all-knowing, and I'm like, yeah, I read that article.
Correct.
You didn't write it.
Everyone's
Right.
got Google at the end of the day, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to play a video really quick. That's really cool that our friend Kat put together. Then we're going to start shutting this down. Get ready at noon. We've got giveaway, another birthday celebration. Hold on, guys.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
The best. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. That made me cry. So I'm going to shut this down. We'll be back at noon for a members live. I have to give a special shout out to my friend Kat for that awesome video, the one we saw earlier too. Thank you for all your awesome thumbnails. Just roll with it. She has made some amazing artwork. She's a great friend, and she also makes awesome earrings, guys. She needs to be selling those in here.
Ooh.
For those of you that were here from the first group and have watched, I mean, just all the madness, you know, we're here for the first show. Some of you were here last June 3rd. You know, I love you all, even if you just joined last week. We're all very blessed to have such great friends and to be able to get together and discuss horrific things and always walk, you know, away at the end of the show and the end of the day. We're still friends and we can agree to disagree. So I'm going to see you guys back here at noon for our members live. We have a special giveaway. You guys are the best. Thank you. Thank you so much. Kat, see you in a minute.
See you in a bit.